Good. I really want to say good morning, Vietnam. Every time I do
We're going to go through this every single time.
Every time. Good day, everybody. Troy Rawlings here.
Hello. That's Jake Stevens. Doing a really odd, terrible accent.
Was that?
I don't even know what it was. It was like a bad British, Irish, Australian, just
It was like
an embarrassment to everybody.
Aborigine from England.
Hello. Better? Nope, just terrible. All right, anyway. Woohoo!
Welcome to...
We're on the air.
The show. I'm Troy.
The show to be named later.
We're still giving you guys a chance to name...
That's the name. The show to be named later.
It's too long. Don't say it. Don't say it.
T.S.
We keep saying...
T.B.N.L. T.S.T.B.N.L. The show to be named later. Yes.
So it was a part of... This was initially a part of the Troy Rawlings morning show, but it's going to be a separate podcast. Jake Stevens, Troy Rawlings. And we have a great concept for it, but we want you guys to take time and come up with a name. If we don't like any of the names, we're going to go with the name we have. We're not going to say it yet, whipped cream and coffee, but we're...
I'm not going to name names.
We're not going to name names. And if you heard, this is episode 2, Troy Rawlings, Jake Stevens. We'll just say that. It's episode 2.
We could have Stephen A. name drop our show name.
Go back and listen to episode 1, and the Stephen A. references will make a lot of sense.
I happened to actually, this is funny, as I was driving, I don't even know where I was driving yesterday, and I happened to flip on the radio, and Stephen A. was on, and tears were rolling down my face.
I'm Stephen A.
I'm like, I already talked to him today.
Oh, man. With all due respect.
I know somebody who listened to that show once.
So you got two guys talking. We're fathers. We love sports. We like comedy. So you're going to get a lot of that. And sometimes we're going to talk about some stuff that's more serious with comedy added into it to make it funnier.
We're going to do a dramedy radio show?
A dramedy. No, a comma.
Well, you said
comma?
It'll be some seriousness. So it'll be a...
It's comma. We're comedy first and then dramedy.
A comsirity. None of those things work.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
Something you go to the hospital for.
What happened? He had a comsirity. You had to have a stent introduced into him, and he's going to be laid up for 6 weeks.
That's bad. It's bad.
It's not good.
Can't go to the bathroom on his own with it.
So, one of the topics that we want to do, that we're going to end up doing when we really fully get into all this, is what did Zoe say this morning? Your daughter.
You know what?
So I'm curious, what did she say this morning that is going to make me laugh?
Zoe was with her mom. You know, we do the morning prayer and stuff, and she's on her way. She didn't say anything really funny. I called her when she was getting up this morning, so it wasn't really anything. I'm still going to run and see her in a bit, but I'll see if she says anything.
There's nothing today? I find that hard to believe.
She said nothing really, you know.
Well, I can give you one.
Oh.
Ben yesterday. Ben's 6. Benny Bear, the Boo Bear. They were discussing languages in different places because Ben is in dual immersion classes. He's learning Spanish and English at the same time, which is fabulous. And he's loving it, too. And they were asking, and my wife Laura was talking about different countries and what they speak, and Ben said, "What do they speak in Florida?" And I think the first reaction from my wife was to laugh and then explain to him that Florida is a state in the United States, so they speak English, but people might also speak Spanish down there, right? But what I thought was, with all the crazy stuff that goes on in Florida, it could be its own country.
Cubans speak Spanish, right?
In Cuba, I would assume they...
Yeah,
I guess.
So anybody that's Cuban...
I'm going to look it up.
Listening.
What language do they speak in Cuba?
All right, I know...
I feel like they speak Spanish.
Because it's funny because people say that Spaniards or Hispanic people from Spain speak differently from people from Mexico.
Yeah, the different dialects and all that, sure, of course. Yep.
It's like, Patois is not really a language, I don't think. It's a broken English, I think, for people in Jamaica when they speak it. But when you hear people in Jamaica talking, you're like, what?
Spanish. Espanol.
What language
Cuba.
do they speak in Cuba? Spanish.
What language does Cuba Gooding Jr. speak?
Wow. Wow. Shout out to
Cuba.
I haven't seen anything from Cuba Gooding Jr. lately.
I happened to be watching recently. I saw Jerry Maguire, which is, as far as I'm concerned, his best comedic role.
Yeah, that's what the Academy thought.
Right. And then also when he was in and I think we've discussed this before, I think it's Men of Honor, where he's the
guy
the
who
diver.
lost his legs.
No. He's the first black naval diver.
Right? Didn't he lose his legs or something? Or
he couldn't walk for a bit, and then he walked again because of Robert De Niro or something, right? I think.
Oh,
maybe
like that. It was a good movie though.
Whatever it was.
Men of Honor.
It's not Boat Trip or whatever.
And what was the other movie that did he do? Snow Dogs? No. There was another movie. Remember we were talking about the movie? It was this is a part
Snow Dogs.
when we talk about. We have a lot of movie trivia stuff, but this is the part where we randomly talk on certain things. But this is a movie. There was a movie that Cuba Gooding Jr. and some guy, and we talking about Jeremy Piven. Remember they got this laid out RV.
Oh yeah,
state of art RV.
We even looked it up. It was like Judgment Night.
Judgment Night.
The
previews for the movie made it seem like it was going to be something different, and when you sat in the movie, it was something different. But it was like, I can't leave this movie. What is going on? It's like I feel like I'm trapped in an RV with these guys. It was pretty.
And that was with
and one of the other boys, one of the
comedian.
Dennis Leary.
Thank you, Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary.
Yes.
How do you transition off of a bad movie?
I'm just trying to remember how we got here at all. I guess it was
we talked about Ben in Spanish and Florida.
Oh, and Cuba, and that's how we got to Cuba Gooding Jr. I'm telling you, we gotta have a contest. We gotta have a contest for somebody when we start doing this consistently. We're gonna have a contest that anybody
who can name all the topics we talked about in the show.
Well, they don't even have to name them all. What's more important is they have to name the transitions. How we got from one topic to the next.
Right.
That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
Transitions are important.
We're gonna have to shorten up the show though, because they'll have to write War and Peace in order to get to.
I think our best transition we'll use is, with all due respect, I was talking to a friend of mine.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Straight from the horse's mouth. I'm just letting everybody know right now. Floyd Mayweather is not boxing again. In other news, that's our transition. In other news,
okay. I do want to transition to something sports-wise.
Okay.
And we touched on yesterday. We touched on the hockey playoffs a little bit. We touched on the NBA playoffs a little bit.
Yes.
There's a great viral video that I saw today. One of the moves Ben Simmons made last night, where he goes around one Heat player, then splits two others, and then takes 3 steps and lays it in the hoop.
Oh,
and
did he get called?
No, they don't call that. So it was beautiful. And somebody posted it, and I love it. I'm like, that's a tremendous clip. I'm like, 1, 2, 3. He took 3 giant steps. It was like, you remember the game like Red Rover, let somebody, or
right.
So
you try to get as close as possible.
Somebody can take 3 giant steps, and if they try to sneak in another step, he clearly snuck in at least 3 giant steps when he was doing it. But it was awesome. They are really good. The Sixers are really, really good.
Really good.
The Sixers might win the Eastern Conference. I know it's ridiculous.
No.
It is ridiculous. But I think they're the most complete, talented team.
So Kyrie's injured right now.
Kyrie's out. Kyrie's done.
For the year.
Yeah, he's done for the year. LeBron's team is playing on... I tell you, in that first game, they looked like they were worn out. And maybe it was because they had such a big stretch run, and then the playoffs, they had to get amped up again. They looked pretty good in game 2, but they had a big lead, and then they had to fight their way through. So that was cool. But I did also want to bring up, actually, because we didn't touch upon it, that's also rolling along. That was the start of the baseball season.
Yeah.
And everybody has gotten a little gaga about Shohei Otani, who is a big dude. I don't know exactly how big he is, but he's not small. He's a Japanese dude, pitches and can play the field. He's like literally the Japanese Babe Ruth, who used to pitch and then hit, and then they just made him a complete hitter. Well, the Angels have him as a pitcher every 5th game, and then he also hits as a DH, and he's been a beast. He's been an absolute beast so far. And they were going to have they could have had a Sunday night game where he was on, and they didn't put it on the Sunday night game. It was just a regular game, and then this week, whatever weather, I think something got snowed out, rained out, whatever it was. And then the Red Sox came to town. It was like the test, because the Red Sox came to the series something like, I think it was 13-2 or whatever. 12-2, 13-2. It's like, okay, how good is he going to be? After 2 innings and 66 pitches, he had developed blister problems and was out of the game. He had already been getting his butt kicked by the Red Sox, who proceeded to take the Angels, who were playing pretty well, and make them look like trash. The Boston Red Sox are off to like a 16-2 start, something ridiculous like that has happened like once in the last 30, 40 years. Their start is like incredible. And it doesn't look like it's going to slow down for a while because their pitching's really good. They got a pretty good bullpen, and their lineup has some pretty studly hitters. They're not all going to hit, close to 400, but
Right.
these guys are going to be good. So it's going to be very interesting.
That might explain why I've been seeing people taking so many trips to Boston lately. I was like, why are people going back east on a California spring?
they're
I know
good.
some. Shout out to my man Pascal, and I saw his pictures the other day, and I was like, oh man, they're having fun in Boston, going to a game. I mean, they say it's the baseball stadium to go to. People love Camden Yards. I'm a Baltimore brat, so people
Sure.
love going to Camden Yards. It's
Yeah, why
beautiful,
not?
but it's a small stadium. I mean, especially for the people that hit the ball out. People love to play baseball there.
Fenway too. Very, 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 very.
I guess it's made with that yard feel like Fenway. It's it's not Fenway, but the Camden Yards just has that feel. I guess also because they're in a harbor landscape and it's open air.
Yeah,
So much
it's a nice
open
setup.
air. Yeah.
By the way, so he went hitless yesterday. God forbid. He's hitting .324, 3 home runs, 11 runs batted in. He's played 9 games in the field.
The Japanese dude?
Yes. He is 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a big guy. And so far he's 2-1 in his 3 starts. And in 15 innings, he struck out 19 batters.
Japan loves baseball.
Yes, they do.
And they...
But usually there's this process where they get a little bit more active. He's been a beast. He had a terrible spring training, and all these people are like, "Oh, he's not going to be so good, this and that," and then kaboom, he's just been an absolute beast.
Shout out to what's his name again?
Shohei Otani.
Shohei Otani.
Otani.
Shohei Otani.
Otani. Yeah, he's pretty tremendous. It's pretty cool.
In other sports news, I got a chance to watch a little bit of the Golden State and
San Antonio
game
yep.
last night. Golden State had a lead. It looked like they were going into the fourth quarter. It was like Golden State's going to win this, and they're already up 2-0. Now they're up 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
But Steph is out. I don't know how long Steph is out.
They'll be fine.
Yeah. His ankles and legs are just fragile. He's like that weird movie with Bruce Willis and what was that? Invincible? Was that Invincible? With Bruce Willis
With the train crash, and he's the only survivor, and
then
he
Sam
comes up against
Jackson
Samuel
is the
Jackson.
very fragile dude, right? That's how Steph seems to me with his ankles and stuff.
Was it Invincible or Unbreakable?
Unbreakable.
Because Invincible was the one
Mark
with Marky
Wahlberg.
Mark, yes, as a football player, roughly, I don't know,
Out of
twice
Philly.
his height.
Right. Oh, he was that guy from Philly.
Vince
who
Papale?
just,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He was not a small guy.
Oh, okay.
Marky Mark is
a
pretty small
He's
guy.
small. He's
Made for a much better.
He's built like a
Hollywood story.
middleweight boxer.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
So I noticed the guy, the guard on San Antonio, they were playing some hard defense near the end of the game, and they were kind of rough.
Tony Parker?
No, not Tony. The
Manu?
one with the dreads. The one with the twist in his hair.
I know who you're referring to, and I can't think of his name.
That's why we don't do official sportscasting, because we don't have their numbers and names, people. So
I don't
so
pay
it's funny. It was
attention
the
to
guys
the
are
NBA.
yelling out. It was like, and it was funny. I like seeing NBA games when it's playoff time and everybody's trying to kill each other. I don't. Here's the issue I had.
trying to kill each other.
People started. This one guard is playing a hard defense. Kevin Durant. He falls. His ankles. You see his ankle twist. He falls. It's like everybody's like, even and this was San Antonio. They were still like, So, and then one of the other players, the guy runs into his leg. He kind of falls. He gets up though, and I know it's rough basketball. We were talking about it, how rough basketball was back in the day. Considered now, you see somebody twist their ankle, and you're like, oh man, this dude's gonna be out for the season, getting his check just by twisting his ankle. Before you twist your ankle, they tape that sucker up like you on a football field. Remember,
Shove it back in.
I remember Michael Jordan watching
Patty Mills?
Patty Mills.
Okay.
I remember Michael Jordan watching him get wrapped before the basketball game. I never forget it. They had like 2 splints on the side of his ankles, and then he wrapped him with tape, wrapped him with Ace, then he put his socks on. And I never forgot that. I was like, okay, yeah, he's going out to prepare because they know this is our star player, and let's wrap his neck. And then back then, all the players wore high top tennis.
The old Converse.
Chuck
Taylors.
Mike had the Jordan. It was
Oh,
Jordan
I'm
top.
sorry, the
Jordan's,
Jordan
Adidas, and Patrick Ewing's, and all those. They had, but the shoes went around your ankles. They at least covered your ankles.
Yeah.
These shoes nowadays are what they used to call 3/4, and some of these guys are playing in low tops. So, am I crazy to think that these new, more expensive shoes are just freaking terrible?
Well, here's the catch. And because I had this issue. So I had knee problems when I was younger.
Right.
And I was
I
told...
had ankle. I would twist my ankle every year.
And I was told by my doctor, do not wear high tops. Because it braces the ankle and puts all the stress on the knee. If you have good knees but your ankles hurt, it's good. If you have bad knees, wear the low tops, some of the strain goes to the ankle, but then you may twist your ankle. Yeah. So there's no... And frankly, there's nothing you can do about a guy either landing with his foot landing wrong and going... Right. Or landing on somebody else's foot, and so your foot doesn't hit properly. There's nothing you can do about that. But in general, that's what I was told, was that the high tops will stress your knee more. So, and they told me, do not wear them. So I had those old 3/4 Reeboks, which by the way just stank. Holy cow, they stank.
So all our people who do physical therapy and any doctors and orthopedic surgeons, let us know about that. That's very interesting. And I know we have some that's checking us out. What is the probability of twisting your ankle versus damaging your knee in high tops versus 3/4 versus low tops?
You know what? I know just the person to look into this, but I'm not going to drop names. I'm no Stephen A. I may have somebody search into that.
Dr. Wood, head of orthopedics at Harbor Hospital, if he's still there. If you're listening, let us know.
When on my old radio show up in Bakersfield, I actually had a doctor who had done a similar surgery to... I'm trying to remember what famous athlete it was who had gotten injured, and the question was, could he come back? And gosh, it was probably 5 years ago, and I can't remember who it was. But it was that sort of thing where we asked him, we're like, look, we know you're not looking at this guy's leg or ankle or arm or whatever it was. But based on what you've done and what you've seen, what would be the effect? How would you expect this to go? What would be your general prognosis for this sort of injury? And walk through it with him. It was really cool. It was really cool. I think that guy might have been from the Hospital of Special Surgery in New York. But anyway, it was fascinating. I was completely fascinated by it. I don't know if my listeners were, but you know what? I didn't care because I was fascinated.
Yeah, because you want to know those things, especially as you're getting up in age. Like we're close.
I'm not getting up in age.
We're closing in on the mid mark. We call middle age. I think middle age is supposed to be 50, right?
No way, because I'm not getting to those drooling years. Thank you very much. It's not going to happen. That's what we always used to refer to them.
The drooling years.
Yeah. People are like, you're going to cut 10 years out of your life. You know what? If I live till I'm like somewhere in the 80s, that'd be fine. I do not want to go past that and be, unfortunately, now there's been a lot of changes in science and medicine and all that, but still, we have not
figured
conquered
out how to stop
the aging
from drooling and wrinkling.
The aging process where your body just breaks down and it's uncomfortable and frankly not a joy to live at that point. I don't want to run into that. Now, if they can make it where I can still act like I'm an adult, I can do basic stuff. I don't want to get to the point where like walking is a task. You know what I'm saying?
I just met a woman the other day, a friend of mine, relative of the wonderful Crystal Roney, who's the head of
Name
Comedy
drop.
World Network.
Name drop.
I'm not, with all due respect, I'm a good personal friend, Crystal Roney. She might be listening to this. This may be on CWN Funny one day. But her grandmother, we kind of scared her because we went to her house and we just rolled up in the house. Crystal has a key and she's there. So her grandmother's asleep. I see her in there asleep. And Crystal walks in. I guess she hears the door close and she's like, "Hey, who's that? Come on in here." And when we got in there, she's like, "Woo, y'all scared me." But see, her defense was, "Hey, come on in here." Which I think any burglar would be like, "Oh snap, let me get out of here." She asked me to come in like she know me. She was like, "Oh, y'all scared me. I know who you were, but I act like I did." But she was real cool, nice looking older lady, 101 years old.
Oh my goodness, could she get around?
Yes.
Okay. Again, if I'm at the point where
the old saying is black don't crack. Her skin, I would have gave her 80, maybe. When you're 101 and you can pass for 80, you're doing good.
By the way, there was recently a rough picture of Tiger Woods, and it had that saying. I guess that saying is not true.
Well, Tiger has a little. Well, Asian definitely don't crack. So I don't know what Tiger. Tiger has stress.
It just showed a
stress fracture.
It showed a picture of him looking just so
beat down.
Yeah.
But I've seen it was funny because when he was on the course, he looked great. I mean, just in the sun and all that stuff. But yeah, he has some, every now and then he has some rough pitches.
That reminds me.
The hairline situation and all kinds of
stuff. So here's the deal with me. So I'm terrible with people's ages no matter what.
Yeah,
okay? I first of all, I look at people who are like, I guess, in college or just after college who've like now they're legal to drink. Like I'll be out at a bar somewhere, I'll see people drinking, I'll look at my wife and be like, they can't drink. Like there's no way they're 21 and they're probably in their mid. I don't know anybody's age. Okay, I'm just terrible with that.
Right.
However, it really gets exacerbated when I'm at the casino.
Oh,
because when I'm dealing,
check, right? Or do dealers check ID, or is the guys the pit people?
No,
check?
We don't do that. Right. But there's so many Asian players and dealers there,
you could never
and honestly, if you gave me like 20 guesses, I might not come close.
Right.
I don't know, and it used to be the joke with the oil of Olay and the special treatments, why they look so young. But honestly, there's clearly something gene-wise because no clue. Could be 20, could be 80. I don't know.
It's hard to tell men from women sometimes.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Speaking of time.
But it is kind of interesting. It's quite an eclectic mix of people that come to a casino. And one of them last night actually was a real jerk.
Jerk because of alcohol?
Nope, he was just a jerk. There was another guy who was super happy drunk.
Right.
And he was hilarious. Like, he'd just keep placing the bet. I can't win! He'd be like laughing and whining, and like everybody else was laughing while they took his money.
Mm-hmm.
But
this is crazy.
But no, there was a guy at one point sitting right next to me when I was dealing, and he was just a jerk. And at one point something happened, and I'm not going to go into details because what happens at the casino stays at the casino. Yeah,
it's not just Vegas.
I've
it's anywhere there's money being
I've
lost.
decided that's officially. and I called over the floor man because we don't try to argue with the players. As a dealer, you're taught you don't argue. If they have a question and they're not going to take your answer for it, you just call over the floor man. That's fine. They come over. The floor man comes over, and what happens is the dealer then tells the floor man the situation. Then the floor man might ask the player what went on, and then he'll make a decision. Well, I start to tell the floor man, and the guy starts, I said, sir, you're going to have to wait until I tell the floor man what happened. When I'm done telling him what happened, and he asks you, you can then speak to him. And he's glaring at me. So I started to tell him, the floor man, and he goes, but, and I go, sir, do not speak again. And the floor man's right behind me like, I'll handle it. I'm like, all right. And then he took care of it. Like maybe 10 minutes later, the guy got up and left. I think he was not happy with me, but I didn't care because...
Were you dealing from the bottom of the deck?
No. As I love to tell people, by the way, people are always like, oh man, you could do this. I said, look, I said, listen, if I could cheat like that, I wouldn't be here in the casino. I'd be at some big money game somewhere where I'm working with some of the players, and we're taking home thousands,
right?
Right? I'm not doing it so somebody can give me, $1, $2, $5 tip. I appreciate those, but that's not changing things. A couple grand that I get for dealing one of those nights, that's very different. So people, please, I'm not cheating anybody here. I'm not attempting to. I never would. But if I was going to, it would not be here.
With all due respect, if I was going to make that happen, it would be.
Well, let me tell you one last story because I know we gotta go here. But
but I also wanted to mention one thing before we get out here about
real quick.
Today's date.
Okay, real quick. Did that help? To go to the date? Or were you thinking today is?
No, that's exactly what it was.
Oh, okay.
But it sounded like you were inhaling.
But there's another thing with the date, so I'll get to that first, and then I'll close my story, and then you close with whatever, because I'll been. So today is also the anniversary of the date that I proposed to my wife.
Oh.
And I would never know that except one of my sisters, my sister Pam, knew it and would always remind me every year. And then once people started to talk about 420 and I knew that it was a thing, now I know what day it is.
Now you can... Wow.
Right. But I never knew it before.
Right.
Never knew it.
Do you guys ever celebrate like that?
Nope.
Have you ever...
Believe it or not,
it's kind of hard to celebrate.
I am part of the very small minority, I think. I've never smoked. My wife has never smoked. My parents never smoked. My sisters have never smoked. None of us in our family. Well, I think
or herb.
I've had a cigarette before. Mm-hmm. I've probably had the equivalent of an entire pack of cigarettes over the course of my lifetime. That's about how many.
Better than me.
I don't think either of my sisters ever smoked. I know my mother has never smoked, and I'm 99% sure my father has ever smoked. Just doesn't. My grandfather used to smoke cigars.
Right.
Which my parents told him he had to give up when he wanted to be around the kids. So that ended his cigar habit. Yes. Because he wanted to be around the grandkids. But what I started to tell you about the dealing thing was a very funny story last night. It's very quick. As a tournament dealer, as a regular tournament dealer, we wear white button-down shirts. The rest of the regular dealers deal in gray shirts. So there's just a sprinkling of us each night, 5, 6, 7 dealers that are wearing white shirts. And every time you sit down at a table, the people are like, well, why do you wear a white shirt? So I got to my last table last night, and a guy said, why are you wearing the white shirt? And I said, man, I wish I had $1 for every time somebody asked me and I had to explain why I wear a white shirt. And then I explained it. And then a guy across the table from me flipped me $1. I said, thank you, sir. He goes, well, you said if you had $1. And it just cracked me up. And he flipped me $1 for my explanation.
That's the one you take. That's the one you take in video. Oh, you can't video in the studio, but in the casino. But that's the one you take and let say, hey, man, I wish. But if you say that, that's an easy $1 tip for you because somebody at the table is going to be a wise.
Although you're not supposed to ask.
It's
actually illegal.
Kind of tip,
right. You're not allowed to do that.
But if you say, I wish I had $1, you're just saying a phrase.
Right.
It's like if Jake, you said that phrase 25 times in the last week. I was like, I did? Oh.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. From the time we've been doing this now, which has been for the last, I think, 4 weeks, I've probably been asked at least 100 times. I'd easily have another $100 in my pocket if I was given $1 every time. I guess I should have asked for like $100 every time. Then I'd have like 10,000.
That's when they call you in the office and say, Jake, we've been noticing, we've been noticing some disparaging situations. 420. Let's talk about that before we get out of here. I have to find out the history on it. So the next show, okay. How did it come about?
It's actually You know what? We should come back and talk about that on Monday.
Official when everybody is done and more sober.
Yes, it's very interesting because there's a lot of questions about it. There's a lot of legend, lore, debatable. But yeah, I looked it up one time on like Wikipedia and then followed all these links to see stuff and like organizations and people who did and blah blah blah. It's fascinating. It is fascinating. I remember at Michigan, they used to have, when I was at school, they used to have what they called the Hash Bash. Mm-hmm. And it was a day where everybody would come to the Diag, which is like the center of campus where literally paths crossed and coming through. Big block M on the ground. People would come out there and they would just smoke that day and the police would not bother them.
That sounds like, real quick, I did a quick Google and
used the Google.
How April 20 became Weed Day. CNN has a whole big thing, CNN.com.
Big news.
According to Chris Conrad, curator of the Oaksterdam Cannabis Museum in Oakland, California. 420 started as a secret code among high schoolers in the early 1970s.
Right.
A group of friends at San Rafael High School in Marin County, California. Right now they're somewhere like, woo! Who called themselves the Waldos, would often meet at 4:20 p.m. to get high.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's now there's other. So if you kept going through it and went to Wikipedia, you'd see all these other either conflicting,
but they have whole stories about the Waldos. I
Yeah.
guess they're gonna have to. They probably have a movie. Somebody's done a movie.
And that's why you know that he's always disappeared. You know the whole "Where's Waldo?" It's because
and the way he dresses.
Gets high, disappears in some odd clothing.
Yeah, and it was like, can you find him? It was like, it's kind of hard not to spot the dude with the winter hat on, the peppermint striped shirt, and the big black rim glasses. All right. Oh, but before we gotta, and it's hard. We'll touch on this too, because some people indulge in marijuana, some people can't. I've had before, but it's not the best thing in the world for me. And now that I have my daughter, I try to be sober 24/7.
Is that what you're gonna say? I'm trying to curb her.
I'm trying to just get her away from it. Too much. but how do you think? And I know we're gonna get different answers from different people. But can you function in the business world on marijuana on a regular basis?
I'm going to make the last couple of stories collide right here.
Okay.
And
yeah,
I know.
Yeah, okay.
I know. There are a number of players I know, poker players, who go on break and smoke to calm themselves so that they won't be as nervous.
I understand that.
So
as long as they don't come back twitching at certain things.
No.
They know how it, like people like that.
One guy actually came back and was totally angry, and so I don't know what went on, but he definitely went out to smoke. And then actually was so rude was so rude that somebody else who I know came to me the next day and said he was really trying to find you to apologize for being such a complete and utter
ass.
Yeah.
We can say
So,
whatever.
but yes, but most people generally that. So I find that interesting, but we can definitely get into that. But I don't think it's a problem unless you're operating heavy machinery or something of the like, right? You know, those warnings are always.
Well, that's the. I mean, like, how many stockbrokers? Well, if they have to calm down, that is true. I get it. I get it for those that have to calm down. But what if you have to be on point
constantly?
Right.
They go through. That's why That's why Frito-Lay stock is always up, because they're constantly buying from them. We get smoke.
And it's hard.
Have the munchies. Sell Frito-Lay.
The same companies that sell snacks to kids have to find the best way in the world not to make it seem like they're doing extra promotion on 420. Because if they did, all of a sudden it's like immoral. Like you're promoting.
Yeah, Joe Camel. Okay, we've gone through these things already. We're Joe Camel. All right, we gotta wrap things up here.
Get out of here.
Woohoo! It's been
guys.
Fun. We're gonna start rolling regular on Monday.
We're gonna be in here on Monday, and you got a couple. This is episode 2, so stay tuned. Share them with your friends. Give us topics that you want us to speak on and talk about. We actually have some knowledge, and we're usually sober. Shout out to our future beer sponsors. We will drink beer on the air. So
we're gonna have to push this show a little later.
We are connoisseurs of good beer. Actually, we are
connoisseurs of good beer, carnivores of good meat.
Oh, carnivores of good meat. If you have a barbecue in the Burbank,
Los
Angeles area,
maybe that's what the show should be: connoisseurs and carnivores, or carnivores and connoisseurs.
We got to check it out.
Is there a third one? Maybe it would be carnivores, connoisseurs, and dinosaurs.
What are we gonna?
Connoisseurs, carnivores, and dinosaurs.
We love y'all.
Yeah.
Have a great night. Have a great day.
I think
we'll be discussing this.
I think we've had too much to smoke.
No, we haven't. We don't do
That's
that.
the problem.
Oh.
Maybe we haven't had enough.
We haven't had enough.
Bye-bye.
See you guys later. Peace.